everybody. Go ahead and call the meeting to order. Thank you all for being here for the May the 4th.
Be with you.
I'm glad you said it because my son would be disappointed if I didn't make some kind of a Star Wars reference whenever I said May the 4th just now, but he's already sent me that text earlier today. But we'd like to say welcome. Thank you all for being here. We did kind of change the agenda a tiny bit with opening remarks as kind of an added section is for different things going on in the community. One that I don't know if many people are aware of or not, it just happened yesterday. One of just a stellar member of our community passed away yesterday, Miss Margie Lohman, who helped start Prevent Child Abuse Pickens, has just been an outstanding member of our community Optimist Club, served on our Board of Health. She's a current member of our Board of Health, but she passed away yesterday, so I'd like to ask everyone to please remember the Lohman family in your prayers, and numerous others as well. I mean, there's a lot of families I think that are suffering from loss, but we had a very close relationship with Margie. She was quick to tell you what she thought, and she was quick to be willing to serve as long as you would listen to what she thought while she was serving. So I love the back and forth with her, and she'll be missed greatly. On a positive note, our Dragon baseball team made it to the Sweet 16 in the state playoffs. Did a fantastic job. So they were fun to watch. Would have loved to have seen them go on further, but it's an amazing accomplishment. We also had several track and field members in a number of sports that placed in the region and are moving on to state. I know that in golf, some of our high school students that are moving on to the state championship as well. So we've got an athletic program that's just dominating in the Region 3. So
well, I'm going to bring up that the boys tennis team went to the state playoffs for the first time. They've never done that. So
I knew if I started saying one, I would miss somebody. That's why I'm more nervous to even start. But
yeah, I'm a little impartial to the tennis team. So
that is
I got some kids playing on it. So
awesome. Well, we'll kick off our meeting. I've asked Kirk Anderson if he would to open us up with a prayer, and then we'll move straight into the pledge of allegiance.
Let us pray. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for letting us gather here today. Please, Lord, bless these proceedings. Let us have wise minds and lead us and guide us. Let us go as you would have us to preserve this great community. Please, Lord, bless all of those on the front lines, first responders, firemen, our EMS or 911, and everybody that stands on the line to keep us all safe. Please, Lord, bless the Lohman family in their time of loss and comfort them as best you can. Please, Lord, watch over us, guide us. Let us be the people you would have us to be. In thy heavenly name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Mr. Tippett, will you lead us in pledge? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So one other thing about May the 4th is May the 4th is also National Firefighter Day, not just Star Wars Day. So thanks for all of our fire service. I know we've got Chief Prather and Director Elrod both in here with us today. And one of our newest volunteer firefighters sitting next to me, Commissioner Pickens. So we want to say thank you for what you guys do. Anybody willing to run toward a burning building needs a psychological evaluation, but we're very appreciative of having you. Amendments to the agenda. I do have a couple of amendments that we went ahead and factored into the printed one today, but they came up since we advertised. One is to add item E, approve additional extension agent for the county extension. And then item F is a special event staffing resolution. I do have both those items. I'd like to ask, could I have a motion to approve the agenda with the amendments?
So moved. Second.
Move in a second. Any discussion or any other items? With none, all in favor?
Aye.
Carries. Agenda is approved. Employee recognitions. I'd like to call up our tax commissioners, Daniel Reeves, and let you take the floor.
Well, thank the Board of Commissioners, as always, for allowing us to do this. We like to do this once a quarter. And for the first quarter of the year, Mary Jo Dillard has won our Employee of the Quarter. She's also our newest employee. She just finished the 8th grade. She's older than she looks. But she started with us just last September, not only her second quarter here, she got Employee of the Quarter. She kind of hit the ground running. She's very, very productive. She's very attentive. She didn't actually require a lot of training whenever she started. She kind of, came in and done what she needed to do to get started. And so she's just been a great employee. She's got great customer service. And, we appreciate her. Like I said, she is our newest one. So she kind of jumped out of the gate and hit it wide open. So we just want to recognize Mary Jo, let her know that we appreciate her. I want to give her this certificate showing that she is the Employee of the Quarter, as well as a $50 gift card for doing that.
Thank you.
One more.
I do have to point out, when y'all were taking the picture, she is taller than me. So,
Most people are.
just, I had to get him back on the comment. I appreciate it. So we'll move on with no items on our consent or old business. We'll move straight into new business. Under new business, we did receive notification from the town of Talking Rock. This is an item really just to be introduced onto the record. There was nothing found on this particular parcel. It's tax parcel 011018. It's I did have the acreage right here. 4.63 actually. Acre parcel of property that's on the border of Jones Mountain Road and Highway 136. It touches Talking Rock property already. There's no island that's created. They have just sent over to ask that we have any opposition to it. We can't find any reason why that should not be accepted. So really just to read that onto the record, it's not a voting item per se, but wanted to make sure that that was introduced. If anybody had any questions, be happy to. Okay, all right. We'll move on to the next item on the agenda. The phrasing's a little bit different on approving a grant for Tate Mountain Dam, the Geosyntec proposal. The grant was received from FEMA. We've already received a grant in order to do that. What we do need to do is actually approve the engagement of the engineers to conduct the work that's a part of that grant. This work is being assisted with our EMA director, working closely with Tate Mountain community. They're going through, and this is to approve an engagement with Peoples and Quigley. The total cost for the proposal on this particular portion of the grant is $37,000 for phase one of this. This is funds that we're receiving from FEMA, but we do need to engage them in order to get that by. So I'd like to ask for a motion to authorize me as chairman to sign the engagement to get this ball rolling.
Motion to approve.
Motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, with a motion and second, any questions or anything regarding this? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We'll move on to the next item. Next item is approving road department paving bids. It's always an exciting time of year when we put the bids out to get our paving projects moving forward. This year we did it as two separate projects. One, and the reason being, on Jerusalem Church Road there was a patching portion and then resurfacing on top of the patching, which was different than just the countywide resurfacing. So I'm going to introduce these as two separate bids. We'll vote on both as two separate. The initial for the 2023 Jerusalem Church Road paving project for Jerusalem Church, which was patching and resurfacing, we had two bidders. They had the opportunity to bid in two different fashions. One was one form of patchwork, and then the resurfacing, another was another form of patchwork, which was the alternate bid. These have all been vetted by EXP, our road engineers, and we've received a recommendation. The low bid was C.W. Matthews Construction under the alternate bid of $1.251,071. Bartow Paving also bid on the project. Their bid was for $1.365,451. for the project. So C.W. Matthews did come in with the low bid on that particular project. And with that, I'd like to entertain a motion that we approve moving forward with C.W. Matthews and on that project.
So moved.
So I have a move. Do I have a second?
A second.
Any questions or discussion related to? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, then the second portion of that same bid process was the 2023 LMIG SPLOST countywide paving project. Both of these actually be funded from SPLOST, but then this one, LMIG, the local mileage and improvement grant from the state of Georgia, will help to pave. This was Cove Road, Worley Cross Road, portions of Revis Road, Ray Mountain Road, and Corinth Church Road. We had 3 different bidders on this. The low bid came in again from C.W. Matthews Construction at $2,047,799.80. The second bidder was Bartow Paving. They came in at $2.3 million, or $2.311. And then third was Johnson Paving that came in at $2,363,000. EXP engineers have also reviewed the packets on this and made a recommendation for the bid from C.W. Matthews, which was the low bidder on this one as well. So I'd like to entertain a motion that we approve the countywide paving project bid.
So moved. I'll second.
Move in a second. Any discussion or questions on that? And all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Move forward. This one's one of those where we get to approve spending money on some of these. These are SPLOST funds that we're spending, but these are big projects. Those are 2 of our longest roads. I believe we had a discussion the other day. I think Henderson Mountain's the only other road that we have longer than Jerusalem and Cove. So both of them are 8 miles long, which is pretty substantial in getting those 2 paved. Next item on the agenda is the approval of a walking track bids. We did have a bid opening earlier today at Roper Park to resurface the walking path and make major improvements to the walking path. That would move that from the narrow width that it is now to being a 9-foot wide walking path all the way around with some additional to cover all the way to the community center. We only received 1 bid on the project. The bid came from Moss Paving Company, or Kevin Moss Asphalt Paving Company. And the bid amount was $145,000, and that's to remove the existing infrastructure that's there and resurface that as well. That'd be, like I said before, another SPLOST project. So I'd like to open up the floor for a motion to approve the bid from Moss Paving.
I am very excited to make a motion to approve this.
We have a motion. Do I have a second?
Good stuff.
I will second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion, questions?
So there was some discussion early on. Is this going to tie both of the walking tracks together?
So it won't tie the one that's up on Refuge, it won't tie that one together. You know, once we as a board of commissioners, recreation advisory board, figure out what we're going to do with the field 1 area potentially, then we can then attach the walking track to include that. But right now we're keeping that out. It's just going to attach to the community center. It's going to go down beside field 2. It's going to fix that area around field 3, and then it's going to shoot all the way down. And basically they're tearing everything out and putting a 9-foot wide path. And out of everything we've done, lights being the biggest, the most complaints we get is the walking track. So the fact that this is now going to happen is it's huge. It's like Josh said, it's huge because it's really needed down there. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think not only resurfaced but lit.
Yeah,
So
this is great.
we'll have both moving forward. All right. So with no further discussion, all in favor?
I emphatically say aye. It's not Mr. Tate.
It's approved. We will get those moving forward. I know that we had a set schedule where as soon as baseball season and softball season ends, they should begin the work on that and get completion through the summer. So
I hope everybody just works with a mess. It's going to be messy for a while, but once everything gets done, it's going to be top notch.
Awesome. Another exciting thing that we received, and this is one of the amendments to the agenda, was to approve additional extension agent with the county extension office. The state of Georgia actually approved statewide 2 additional agent positions in the entire state. One that they approved was for our region, for Pickens County to create a 4-H agent, so that we won't just have an agricultural agent, but we would have a 4-H agent as well. The state funds the vast majority of that position. There's a small supplement that the county would then match. And because of that county match to the supplement on their salary, that would maximize at $10,000 a year. Wanted to bring that before the board for the approval of that new agent position so that we can let them know to move forward with that. So I'd like to ask for a motion to approve the addition of another agent with our county extension office.
I don't know which one of us are more excited, but I'd like a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
A move and a second. Any discussion on that?
Yeah. Happy to see it.
This is something that was here for a long time, and then when funding in county extension world went away years ago, they narrowed it down to one position, actually went to 0 for a while, and they finally got it back. So this gets us back to where we need to be. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. The next is special event staffing is the other item that was on our amendments for the agenda. This is working with the fire service. I know that Chief Prather's been working on kind of creating a policy to put in place and procedures for special events and for the staffing that's used for those special events. So we've got a resolution before us. I know each member's had a chance to go. I will read through the resolution so that each of you have a chance to know. It's a resolution of the Pickens County Board of Commissioners approving fees for special event staffing by employees of Pickens County Fire Rescue, approving the procedure for updating the standard operating procedures utilized by Pickens County Fire and Rescue and for other purposes. Whereas the Pickens County Fire Rescue is routinely asked to assist in staff special events in the community which may require additional safety personnel on hand to assist in the case of an emergency. Whereas in order to remain consistent in the services provided, PCFR has developed a policy to govern the services and administration of personnel to special events. Whereas as part of the internal policy, fees have been set to charge for PCFR to staff assist with special events and proper equipment to be on hand and used for them. Whereas the fees for events have been set as follows: $90 per hour for EMS medical service coverage, which shall include a minimum of 2 employees, with 1 employee being a paramedic as well as an engine, ambulance, or ATV as needed. $135 per hour for fire protection suppression coverage, which shall include a minimum of 3 employees and an engine, and $180 per hour for fire protection suppression for live fire, which shall include a minimum of 4 employees for an engine and command vehicle. Whereas Pickens County shall compensate PCFR employees who staff and assist with special events at a rate of $45 per hour per employee, and said compensation rates shall have been included in the event sponsor fee above. Whereas the fire chief shall have the discretion to increase, decrease, or to waive any such fee as he or she may deem necessary based upon the totality of the circumstances. And whereas furthermore, when the fire chief deems it necessary to update and introduce a new standard operating procedure, the fire chief shall submit the new updated standard operating procedure for review and approval by the county chairman prior to implementing the policy among employees of PCFR. Whereas this resolution shall become effective immediately upon its approval by the Pickens County Board of Commissioners or upon its adoption into law without such approval. And whereas the Pickens County Board of Commissioners hereby grants the fire chief and/or county chairman the authority to execute any documents and to take all further actions necessary to carry out the intents and purposes of this resolution. Now therefore be it resolved by the Pickens County Board of Commissioners, and it hereby be resolved by the authority of the same that the fees for PCFR to staff assist with special events identified above, as well as the method for the fire chief to introduce new and updated standard operating procedures for PCFR employees are hereby approved if approved. This is putting the procedures in place. It's as more events occur, there's more demand for people to come in on off-duty events, and it kind of creates a standard of how to do so. So I will first ask for a motion to approve this resolution, and then we can go into discussion if you have any questions. But do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. So now any discussion or questions? I know we have our fire chief here with us.
What are some examples of events that are occurring that this would be applicable to?
Tomorrow night, we got rodeo.
Okay.
You know, they call us, ask us to provide that, what it costs. So this is to seek guidance from y'all, we get approval. You know, some things it's easy, but when I put guys out there, We got workers' comp issues we have to address if they were to get hurt and that kind of thing, so they need to be on the payroll. And it's hard to get guys out even at overtime rates when they're only coming out for 2 or 3 hours on Friday night or Saturday nights. One of the situations we got into in my former employment, we had one of these UFC fighters. They come in, they wanted to do a video shoot for their program, but they wanted to set this building on fire. I mean, actual live fire, then sprinkling gas and everything, and wanted us to go in and put it out and that kind of thing. Weren't set up for that, so I don't know if we're ever gonna get that here, but it lays out those 3 different areas that I believe we're gonna get it sooner or later. But when they come in, they're wanting, these are companies for profit, so they wanna come in and get our guys to work 2 or 3 hours, make it worth their while. But if we're gonna work them out there with our equipment, they need to be covered through our workers' comp. So it needs to be official, on the payroll, under our guidelines, working under all of our policies and everything.
So is it requiring certain events to have this, or is it just saying if you do want us to come, this is what we charge?
Well, they can't do the rodeo without us there.
Okay,
So some of these events require us to be there.
okay.
So, but if they call us, this gives me your approval, say this is our policy, this is what it's gonna take. If you want an ambulance, you want a fire truck, that it sets the rates for that.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Okay. All right, all in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Moving forward. Action items. We had 3 different sets of minutes from last month. We had our standard board meeting, our work session, and then there was also a public hearing for the joint comprehensive plan. I know the minutes have been provided to each member of the board. Hopefully you've all had a chance to read through those. If so, do I have a motion to approve the minutes as they've been presented?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on those? All in favor? They are approved. Next item on our agenda is to go through the reappointment of Mr. Jim Kirk to serve on the library board. The position of the library board has been filled by Mr. Kirk, and his term expires at the end of June 23rd. Mr. Kirk remains eligible and has indicated willingness to serve another term on the library board. And this would be an appointment that would continue through June 30th of 2027. Do I have a move to make an appointment of Mr. Kirk to the library board?
So moved.
Second.
Move in a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Carries. The next is another one that's due to tragedy. Unfortunately, this is the second time this year that we've had to do that, and we'll have a third in the near future. But we had a member of our beer and wine board that had passed away last month. Mr. Larry Jones passed away, and so we've been seeking an opportunity for a reappointment. In that, we've worked with the existing beer and wine board to identify a candidate that they have spoke with. He's very willing to serve and wants to do honor to Larry and the time that he served with us before. It's Mr. Toby Jones. So I would like to entertain a motion that we appoint Mr. Toby Jones to serve on the beer and wine board.
So moved. Second.
I have a move and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Jones is now a member of the beer and wine board. With that, it brings us to our guest comments. Open up the floor for any guest comments that we've got. A very quiet crowd on May the 4th. Y'all are just prepping and getting ready for May the 5th, I think is what most might be doing.
We gotta get your acceptance speech.
Thank you.
When it works, you gotta have one.
We also added an item that we're going to keep consistent on our agenda is any closing commissioner comments that if you guys have anything that you want to pass on or information.
I do not.
I'll just say, man, it's been an exciting time. I mean, we spent a lot
Yes.
of money, but there's a lot of good things that's gonna come from it. And
Yeah.
it's all SLOSS dollars, right?
Yep.
By far and large, and
Yeah,
that's.
this isn't hitting taxpayer funds. This is or not property taxpayer funds. It's still tax funds, but different form.
It's
Lots of
very
good stuff.
exciting to get all this done.
Yep.
All right. Well, with no other comments, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Move to second. We are adjourned.